everyone, and welcome to our craft bag segment. We are doing a floral paint by number today, and we had a record number of maker kits that went out, the Take and Make kits that went out the past 2 weeks. So just want to thank all of you for your support and telling your friends about it and crafting along with us here at the library. It's been a lot of fun. Today, go ahead and grab your paint and your paintbrush. And I also grabbed a couple cups of water. I just use old mugs to wash out my brushes. And I also grabbed a paper towel just in case, because you never know. All of the boards were laser etched, so I used my fancy laser cutter to etch into the board. So this design, you can't really see that well, but yours is probably looks much better. And on Mondays, starting in April, we're gonna bring back our Maker Monday, where we do a special craft with our laser cutter. So you'll have to be watching out for that in our next brochure. And let's get started. I just love these colors. There's something about these bright blues that just make me happy. And this is from Oh Yeah Studio, which is kind of a crafting blog. And she actually has another set of colors for this template. So I'll just show you that real quick. So you don't have to use these colors. This is just like your basic guide, but you can switch up any colors you want, especially if you already have acrylics at home. So here is her pink design. So pink background and some pretty teals, and she's purples, and she keeps the yellows in. And then here's the sample that we're gonna do today. So lots of blues. I'm gonna open up the first one. Oh, if your board has really, really dark lines, mine does not. But if yours does, you'll wanna add a very, very thin layer of white paint. And you're not trying to cover the lines, you're just trying to do a thin layer so it's easier, so you don't have to do so many layers of the colors to color up those darker lines. I'm looking at my tip sheet right now, and it says start in descending order. So that means you're going to paint the largest space first and then work down towards the smaller spaces. And that's basically the order that the colors go in. This is a pretty basic paint by number. If you go to a craft store, they have really, really detailed advanced paint by numbers, and this is a good entry-level one. I don't really recommend going out and buying those advanced ones until you start doing more the easier ones. So we're going to do one number at a time, starting with number 1. Another tip on the tip sheet is to do the darkest colors first, which is also the order they go in too, so that makes it easier. And you want to do really thin layers, and take your time too. This isn't one of those fast craft projects. It's gonna take, I think I would plan on, depending on how much time you spend on it, but it could take 3 to 5 hours. Oh, depending on how many layers you do too. if you want to work really hard to cover up those lines. And before you go back and do another layer of the same color, you want to make sure you covered every single number, that same number. So you're not like putting a lot of paint into one area and then you get to the end and you don't have enough paint to cover another area. Such a pretty blue. If you want to make some of these colors even more lighter or pastel, you can add in a dab of white. Oh, here it is. And I left you guys another little stir stick in there so you can just like get a dab of white and then stir it in really, really good. Make sure it's all mixed in. What I did my first few rounds too is I made a little color palette. I wanted to see how the paint dried, because sometimes it dries a little bit different than how it looks when it's wet. So I just did that on my little cheat sheet. I just made little marks at the bottom of it, just to see how it looked. And again, you don't have to follow the cheat sheet exactly. I did one where I switched 1 and 2, and I'll show you guys that one later. But it didn't turn out too bad. I kind of liked how it looked. There are a couple spots I made mistakes on too, and that is perfectly okay. No one's gonna know that you accidentally did a 3 for a 2, or... And then if it is a lighter color too, you can always paint over it with a darker color. Or if you don't like how that lighter color looks, you can paint over it. The person who did this design too, she went to a photo center and had them the design printed on like a canvas, like the thicker canvas boards. So you can take any picture that you have and get it printed on the board. And there's also websites out there that will turn your picture into a paint by number. The one I like is pbnify.com, and that you just upload your picture. You use like a little eyedropper tool to pick out the colors that you want to do, and then it will automatically make like a coloring book style for you to paint. And the only problem is figuring out how to make the colors you picked out. I'm not good at mixing colors, so that would not be my thing. But there's websites out there too where starting at around like $35, and you can send them a picture and they'll send you back the canvas and all the paints you need. And you can look on Etsy for stuff like that. And there's a couple other websites out there. So just like look for personalized paint by number. So I'm going to do a no-no and just switch colors for time's sake. Just to show you what going on to the next number will look like. Got my water, gonna clean my paintbrush. And ideally you'll want your paint to dry before you go on to the next number. That's kind of why this process takes a long time. Number 2. Ooh, this is the one I added a dab of white to. I liked how that looks better. I thought there's just more separation between 1 and 2. 1 and 2 is a little bit more pastel. So just a little dab of white. Gonna mix it with my paintbrush. And when you're not using your colors too, it's a good idea to have them closed. Love it. And you're number 2. If you're into paint by number, we also have the color by number books in our library that you can check out and color with either like colored pencils or crayons, whatever you like to color with. I checked on those yesterday and we still have a pretty good selection. There's a Bob Ross one that looks pretty cool. There's city landscapes. There's all kinds of cat books you can color. So much fun. I might check out that Bob Ross one. Well, you can see how it's going. And don't be afraid to, swap out colors if you want. It doesn't have to be exactly how it is on the cheat sheet. I'm gonna wrap this up. I hope you are enjoying your paint by number. Gonna show you the 2 that I did. So this one is pretty close to following the guide. I think there were a couple small little differences in there. And then this is the one where I switched 1 and 2, and I didn't really follow the guide. I'll do it side by side, so you can see the little bit of difference. Oh yeah, Studio also used like a white paint marker and did defining lines. Just outlining like some of the leaves. Oh, I think you can see it in this pink one. So that's something else you can consider doing. Just adding those nice white outline details if you have a white paint marker at home. And I hope you enjoyed this craft, and happy painting, everyone.